Hey everybody, welcome back to the Franklin Battlefield. We are just north of the Carter House. A few landmarks to point out. To the west, the fancy new visitor center, which will be known as the Harper Center, named after Herbert Harper, longtime director of the Tennessee Historical Commission. To the north, you can see one of the church spires downtown peeping over the top of the Franklin Police Station. So if we ever have trouble, help is that close. In 1864, well, even in 1860, that was almost all open ground until just before you got to where the church was then and where it is today. So just a lot of open farmland between Fountain Branch Carter's farm and what was the little tiny town of Franklin. On November 30th, 1864, right down about where the police station is where Emerson Opdycke's brigade was located. And of course, myself included, in the early days, we heard all of the stories about Opdycke and how he and his men had saved the day, and he and George Wagner had gotten into a long argument that proceeded down Columbia Avenue. We now believe that mostly that's probably not what happened. There certainly was not any big explosion between he and Wagner and his saving the day, although he and his men were certainly a big part of it. There was a lot of work done by other units like the 44th Missouri and the 175th Ohio, rallied elements of Wagner's other brigades which were out front, guys on the main line. So to use a sort of modern term, this was a team effort. It wasn't just Opdycke's Tigers or Opdycke's men, but that's about where they were. And that's a really cool perspective because that shows how far away they were from the heaviest fighting, which is literally where some of those people are. Okay, so it took him a while to get the men up and moved into position, while meanwhile all sorts of chaos is exploding around the house and just south of it. One of the other interesting parts of the battlefield in this area is right across the street is the Lotz house. Albert Lotz, who had moved to this country in the late 1840s, had lived in Ohio for a number of years, but he bought a 5-acre kind of narrow tract from Fountain Branch Carter and had his house constructed in the late 1850s. And he and his family lived there for a number of years. He's often depicted as a master carpenter. I don't think there's any evidence for Lotz being a master carpenter. What the census records and other records show is that he made pianos, he made guitars, he tuned musical instruments, particularly tuning guitars, probably violins, as well as pianos. We know that he was doing work after the war at the Athenaeum in Columbia, doing that exact kind of work. Lotz and his family, wife, kids, the whole crew, were in the basement with the Carters during the Battle of Franklin. But Lotz was among those people in the post-war South who really struggled. And I think one of the more telltale signs is that Lotz was working all the way in Columbia in 1868. He wasn't in Franklin. Columbia had far more opportunities, which would tell you the money had dried up around here. And I don't think it was because he was an immigrant or because he was German or any of that sort of stuff. It was just because there wasn't any work. And by 1870, Lotz had decided to pull up stakes. He sold his house to Robert Buchanan, and then he and his family emigrated to California, where they lived for the balance of their lives. But Lotz family, interesting part of the story, such a great perspective here. And what we're going to do, the new visitor center path will cut right through this area. We're going to move the slave cabin over to a more appropriate location. That walking path and another one that's going to come off the other side of the building will connect up here. So guests will get a whole new perspective on how they enter the site. They will come in the first floor of the new building, up to the second floor, out onto what was the farm, where we will be interpreting all of those elements. Of course, that includes slavery, but through this area, a lot of sort of the industrial things connected to the farm. Barns, sheds, stables. We're not going to be recreating those, but we'll be interpreting them, and then how the Battle of Franklin, and particularly Opdycke's brigade, intersect with all of that right on this great historic piece of property, which some of you might remember long stood, well, the Franklin High School was right here until it burned in the early 1950s, but also how the old school gymnasium stood here until 2016. So as you look around at this green space, just another opportunity to further be able to tell this story on a part of the property that up until now we have not been interpreting all that much, but that's all going to change with the new visitor center, which hopefully is open by Labor Day 2026. Thanks.